what is the most often missing ingredient in a message? Think about it. What do you think is generally missing in a message? It's the message that doesn't tell an interesting story. Storytelling, good storytelling, is a vital component of life. A story has no beginning, has never been, or an end, and there will be no end. It chooses that moment of experience from which to look back or from which to look forward to. And that's life. And that is story. Ladies and gentlemen, and each one of you out there, my name is Mithun Upadhyay. I'm very happy to bring back what you truly deserve. The Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, brought to you by ETH. For life, there is more. So who's our guest today? Somebody who's got a very good smile. And that's what I've heard from his peers, his colleagues, and from his team members. Somebody who's a fitness enthusiast. Somebody who can leave work behind just to make sure he's fit. Oh, I'm not joking at all. He's somebody like that. Well, he's somebody whose effectiveness in championing innovation, delivering business results, and leading people through a change. And he always believes in a change that can lead to betterment. Experienced leader in establishing and growing and managing the technology centers, the GCC, driving global delivery model, global innovation centers, and centers of excellence from India. Known for a customer focused innovation and simplifying experiences with elegant technical solutions, he's proven a track record of building high performance teams. And he's a firm believer in transparency and empowerment. Now, that talks about two biggest pillars of an individual's fundamental towards being a leader. He enjoys the building diverse, inclusive, engaged, and committed teams that enjoy their work and drive business forward. Now, unlocking the potential of the young workforce in India is top of his mind. And he enjoys spending time to help youngsters navigate their way into the professional team. Now, that's like a youngster telling youngsters. He holds 2 patents and actively contribute articles to various leaders. All right, so who's the guest? Please welcome VP and Managing Director of Verizon India, Mr. Vijayaraman Subramanian, with us right now. And very happy to have him. So, hi Vijay, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Mithun.
Pre-COVID and post-COVID.
A very good question. When I look back in the last year and a half or 2 years now, we are actually going to be entering third year from March. Nobody ever could have predicted anything like this. There have definitely been changes in the style in which we operate, as leaders or even as colleagues to one another in the office. First of all, you're all constantly on a virtual setup. You're meeting everybody virtually. And when the COVID, the wave 2 was actually extremely painful. So many people were impacted across the country in our office, people and relatives losing lives and things. So it was extremely difficult moment for all of us. So and one of the things that I had to kind of force myself and also, learn through the process was to build and lead teams with a lot of emotional quotient. It is extremely important that people understand that you're there to support them and that you're there to provide any kind of help that they need at that point in time, whether it was getting a hospital bed,
sure,
or an oxygen cylinder or the remdesivir kind of medicines. We were pumping out just as colleagues, not as an organization or anything. Everybody was out there. We were chatting, talking, midnight calls just to see how we can help a colleague or their relatives. That is what is more important at this point in time when we're working virtually is the personal connect.
Sure.
Right? Extremely important to connect with people at a personal level and talk to them. What we miss during these days is actually just walking over to somebody and saying, you don't look good. Let's have a cup of coffee.
Right.
In your mind, what's not working for you? Do you have any issues at home or work? Is things not going well? What can we do for you? We miss those things. So we started what is called as coffee chats, just water cooler chats.
Oh, wow.
It worked for a while, then people started having video fatigue. So we said, you know what, you don't want to be on video, turn off your video, no worries, we'll talk to you over the phone. So we had to make a lot of those changes with respect to how we connect with people. I think now we have figured it out to some extent, but I think you still can't substitute being there, watching the body language, understanding what's going on. So we are hoping and waiting for a day when we can all go back to work, which I hope is going to be very soon. And I can't wait to reconnect with people. But I think those were the lessons that I learned over the last couple of years.
Very, very interesting as you speak about the needs of people in the second wave. But because you brought this subject out of me, people needing uh, cylinders and needing beds in the hospital. But would you agree with me on this? And I bet you would agree with me on this. But it most of the trouble or most of the problem that kind of raised among people, among individuals, and I'm just not India, globally, was the fact that the media kind of overhyped the entire problem three times more. So what it did to people, individuals generally, is instead of affecting them in the body, it started affecting them mentally, and that caused a panic, and that panic caused anxiety, and that anxiety caused many fertility across the world, which I'm sure you would agree with me, Vijay. Would you agree with me on the thought?
I completely agree with you on the whole panic and the anxiety piece. Yes, and remember, it was a brand new thing. Nobody knew what it does, and the way it was shaping up. And you're true. I mean, what happened as we observed during the time was a lot of people buying beds precautionary, right? And those who needed it, it could have been for anything, any reason. There was just sometimes a lack of availability, but otherwise we were able to manage for most of our employees and support them. So it was not a big challenge because in the cities where we operate and stuff like that, we do have fairly good medical facilities, right? So we were able to do that. We were also able to airlift. We were also able to support some of our other colleagues from other parts of the country to help them get it. So it was not from an employee based standpoint, it was not a dire situation. But I agree with you. There was a lot of anxiety. There was panic about what's going to happen to me if I get it. And right now, if you look at it, in this wave as we are going through it, it's an exact the other end of the spectrum, right? So I personally gone through it. In middle of January, me and my family, we were COVID, but we snapped out of it in 2.5 days, 2 days. Just 2 days of fever, and we were out of it. We said, "Oh, is this what this is?" Right? So yeah, I think now we have a better understanding of the disease. I think, and also the medical institutions and the medical fraternity is aware of how to deal with it. And not only that, I think credit to the governing bodies and authorities, to have taken care of the situation, learned from it, and
Right.
infrastructure and making sure that everything is available and prepared. So the preparedness, actually, I don't know whether you can call it that way, or many people say this is a milder strain and all that. I don't know what it is, but end of the day, it has been fairly smooth so far in the
Right.
third wave, and I hope it remains that way. That is our hope and prayers, that we don't go back on this, and that I hope this is the end of it.
Absolutely, I agree with you. The uh, people say Omicron, but scientific it's called Omicron. What we
Yeah.
studied back in school. So yes, it's the end of it, and I'm sure it's the end of it because people have become more brave towards it, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and they'll take it forward. So I'm going to leave this back of pandemic and go ahead and ask you a very interesting question about an attributes in a successful leader.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Oh, thank you. I mean, this is a great question. So frankly speaking, a leader is also a human being who's learning through the life, right? So
Right.
I'm not sure if you've heard, there is this famous rap song back in 90s. I'm a 90s kid. Uh, where I heard this, lyric, a line. Since this is a personal chat, I'm going to say that. The line went like, life is a lesson, and you will learn it when you're through. So I firmly believe that you learn through your life. You have, as an individual, as a leader, as an employee, as a partner, whatever it is, you learn through your life. You make, you pick up lessons all through your life. So so there are most important attributes for a leader, in my opinion, is to be able to learn, is to be able to be curious all the time, right?
True.
And then the other very important attributes is emotional quotient. Like I just gave the example of the whole situation over the last 2.5 years. Business acumen becomes extremely important. Most important, and things that I look for personally when I look for, and I also keep asking myself if I'm doing this properly or not, is how am I unlocking the potential of people? Right? How am I helping them realize their true potential in terms of developing them by asking them probing questions, by challenging them with tasks that they believe that they cannot do.
True.
And then they do it, and then they feel like, wow, man, I could have done this, right? This is amazing. Now I have a new benchmark, right? So I think the most
Absolutely.
important attribute is to see how I can realize the potential of the people and at the same time energize them to do things that they thought they cannot or could not be done in some form or the other as a team or as an individual. So those are attributes for, and I believe successful leaders have, and we can see it all around us.
Absolutely. I would agree with you. You know what? When you said the whole answer about what your take is, I think we're humans, and even
Yeah.
a leader is learning from the past experience and only growing better. And you're a 90 kid. That makes me a little more older than you. But still, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you about this
Now, when
next.
I say 90s kids, 90s was my year. I mean, I was born, of course, in 70s, but that was the time when I was absorbing most of it. I entered my career and stuff, so that's what I meant by 90s generation.
The rap songs. I so connect to that thought of yours, Vijay. I was very two interesting questions, and I'm going to dive into the next session. Now, this is over a question about if I have to know who Vijay is, not professionally,
Mhm.
not somebody who's the managing director of a company who attends meeting and who's contributing to the entire industry and company, but otherwise, who is Vijay?
All right, very, very difficult question. I can probably write pages about this. So see, I am the way I look at myself is that I am a high energy, passionate, and an extremely people oriented individual. People give me they can really make me do things when I'm with a team with a worker. So when we do these things in the office, a bunch of things, one of the attributes that comes for me is an activator, which basically means I'm able to activate things. So for example, even today, if I have to go play a sport like a cricket or badminton or squash, I am the guy who initiates that within the group and says, listen, guys, I think today is the time we should try and make it at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., whatever it is, let's do it. So I
Right.
have that attribute about me is that I am, always looking to initiate things, looking to activate things. Has
You're the
been
starter. Vijay is the starter of anything and everything. Isn't that true?
that's me, and yeah, and also like I said, I'm high energy and I love being with people and fairly extrovert, outgoing, and at the same time, I like being trying to be fit, not really fit though.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear about you, Vijay. I have this last question, which is gonna get you thinking as well. But when Vijay is alone and Vijay needs to get going, there's one song that he listens to, and that song is,
Oh, that keeps changing. Right now, it is Jugnu by Badshah.
oh wow,
So yeah. Oh my God, take it, that has such an amazing retro vibe for me. It has
true.
that disco vibe if you have heard it. So right now, and I am a kind of guy. You wanted to know about in the previous question is if I like a song that will be on loop till I cannot listen anymore, and that can be hundreds sometimes. And actually,
So
right
right
now,
now your playlist is that,
that's the song on the loop. I like it because it peps me up. It gives me a lot of energy
and
and
you're doing that move as well.
yeah, when I'm not on camera, I do that, and I do my own moves. I do my own moves, and sometimes I'll just put it on a Bluetooth speaker. My daughter and myself, and my, we are
Wow.
playing around it. So it's right now it's that song, but it keeps changing. It could be something else the next season.
That's so wonderful to hear about you at the moment. Jugnu is on the top playlist, and I'm sure it's going to stick on for some time till the next Peppy number hits Vijay hard for the loop for sure. Okay, our next segment is very straightforward. Talks about what you like, what you choose over the other, and that's why it's been termed as this or that. So I'll give you two options. You just need to choose this or that, or rapid fire. So all the best to you, Vijay. Let's
All
start
right.
this very quickly. I'm going to ask a question to you: Europe or Australia?
I know about Australia, Europe or Australia, Australia.
Yoga or gym?
Gym,
Cardio or couch?
cardio.
Beach or mountains?
Oh, this is very difficult for me. Very, very. I love both, but I love the mountains for the fact that I love trekking. But I also like deep sea diving. But I'm a novice at that. One of my bucket lists is to get a scuba diving license. But a very difficult question, so I have to go with both.
I do very hard on you right now, but I'm like 5 steps away from the beach right now in Goa. So yeah,
Oh man, you are living the dream life.
I'm gonna go ahead. Sunrise or sunset, Vijay?
A sunrise,
Okay, happiness or excitement?
happiness,
A horror movie or a thriller movie?
thriller movie, any day,
Romantic or comedy?
comedy.
Friday nights or Saturday nights?
Friday night,
Rock,
TGIF,
rock music or blues?
hard rock,
Drama or documentary?
documentary.
Trekking or river rafting?
Again, difficult, but I'll go with trekking.
All right. Vacation to a city or a scenic location?
Scenic location, any day.
Movies or books?
Books, but I do love movies.
Rich and famous or rich and unknown?
Rich and unknown, my style. If I
Budweiser,
can become rich.
Budweiser or Corona?
Uh, well, Corona. I mean, disease.
With a pinch of lemon in that, right?
Absolutely.
That's very important. Last three one. Camping or glamping?
Camping.
This is my favorite question. I love asking people. Is that this is my favorite one. Okay, poems or story?
Poems that tell a story.
Very interesting. Homecoming or prom night?
Wow. A homecoming right now, but I wouldn't. Difficult to choose, frankly, but homecoming.
Last one. Chai or cutting chai with Mithun Upadhyay?
Cutting chai with Vipin Upadhyay with a filter coffee on the side.
On the side, you had to add that, didn't you? Have to do that.
I had
Thank
to,
you.
man. I mean, I live by it. I drink 5, 6 cups of coffee every day, and I can't live without it. But chai, I can do any number of chais too. I love chai myself. So yeah, cutting chai with Mithun Upadhyay, I can give up the filter coffee for you.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Indeed, I'm just gonna kind of just bounce over the entire episode. What I've learned from you is a very happy-going human that has got a lot of gratitude, but acknowledgement of life is very important. So, to sum it up in a very simple form, I will say, life goes on. Live with it. Is exactly what you have put together. And I can't thank you enough for being part of this one. And it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I wish I had more time to leverage this conversation, go back and talk about trekking, talk about the entire days of college and other stories. But for now, I must thank you and I will connect you very soon. But for now, I must say to all our viewers, this is what we give you. There's so much more than the word more in your dictionary. Explore it. You will see there's life on the other side. This is the Economic Times, Cutting Chai Stories, brought to you by ETH. When there's more, grab it. Thank you, everyone.